Hello there, Amanda here. It's currently raining. I don't know if that's going to be picked up on the mic, but I live in Florida, so you can't avoid the rain here. Anyway, I wanted to go over and review last year's homeschool curriculum. I actually intended to start next week, and I haven't been feeling too good, so that's going to be pushed back until I feel better. So this is kind of a lot later than I expected to be doing this type of video. But things just got away from me. So here I am to review last year's curriculum. Anyway, last year was what we're calling my daughter's kindergarten year. She was 4 at the start of the year and turned 5 halfway through. Technically, she was preschool aged last year, and this year she should be going into kindergarten. However, she's pretty bright, and especially with math, so we kind of take what her math curriculum is and we base her whole year around that. I guess I'll start with math. So we were calling it her kindergarten year. She actually ended up doing level 1 math through the Good and the Beautiful, which doesn't necessarily mean that this is meant for grade 1 or first grade, but it should be about on par with the standards of public school. So yes, this should be about what first graders are learning in school. She actually took an assessment and tested 1 grade up in both math and language arts, but I brought her down 1 level just because she's so young and I didn't want too much on her plate, and I wanted to give her a better foundation before we moved into what she actually should have been able to do. So she actually tested into level 2 and into level 1 of the language arts, and we did level K of language arts. So we are actually not through with this. Last year, we decided to start school in August. She didn't need to start school. I was bored, she was bored. I wanted to teach, she wanted to learn. So we started. And in August, the Good and the Beautiful was sold out of their math. And then in September, they were still sold out of their math. We didn't start until October. Something they did though, because they hadn't expected to be sold out and were surprised by the, huge influx of homeschool parents, they offered 4 weeks worth or a month's worth of each thing that was sold out. They offered it for free, so you could download it and use it. So what we did was actually, we started with 1 month of their level K math. And then in October, we started this level 1 math. So we were 2 months behind in the math. And then her birthday's in January, so like for half of December and half of January, we just took off. So we didn't really catch up at any point, which is okay. But we didn't finish this before the year was out. And also, I just decided to start one day. I also decided to just end the year one day without warning. So we didn't finish this. My plan was to finish it over the summer because she only had like 10 lessons left. Thunder. But we had some issues with a leaking pipe in our wall, and we had to stay at somebody else's house for a couple weeks, and just June was just, I don't even know. It's gone. It was gone before I could even think about it. And then July came, and then I got sick, and summer was not what I expected summer to be. Anyway, I think what we'll do is finish the last couple of lessons of this when the school year starts, whenever that is. but it is in 2 parts, and we finished all of part 1 and most of part 2, and all we have left is, I mean, I think it's less than, it's like 8 lessons. So, and one of them is an assessment to like tell you if you're ready to move on to the next level, which she is, but I don't know, I just want to be able to finish it so that when I put it away, it's all completed. So, math from the Good and the Beautiful. This is their old discontinued math line, and it was okay. My daughter liked it at first. It was really going well for us, and then it wasn't anymore. I don't know. I had originally planned to use Horizons math. And then I told my husband, oh, because I'm not great with math. I'm okay. I passed all my math classes in school, but I didn't like it, and I wasn't great at it. I just did good. I got a passing grade. So he said, so you want to pick a program that you don't like and use something that you think looks nice, but you don't like it. Why should I pick something that I think looks good for me if I'm not even enjoying it, right? He said, if you find something that's story-based and gives more depth to the math that you're doing, that would probably be better for her, and she'd probably understand it better. So we went with the Good and the Beautiful for that. We are not like a game family, like a board game family. We don't play card games together. We don't play board games together. We don't get out games that require us to all sit around a table and play. So there was a lot of that in this. And while a lot of people think that's so much fun, we don't do that in our free time. So trying to incorporate it into our class time was a struggle. I mean, it's in there. It told us exactly when to do these things, but we didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to do it. She didn't want to do it. It took up too much time. We stopped doing almost all of the bonus activities and all of the daily dose about halfway through the year. It was a struggle. So I was like, okay, we're not doing this next year. Well, I sat down and I asked her, would you like to do this next year? And she said yes. She wants to use all the manipulatives, and she wants to do all the things, and she wants all the stories and all the games and stuff. Okay. So we're gonna pick and choose this upcoming year. We've kind of decided we can make this work for us again. They have discontinued the math. We bought math 2 and it was on sale, and now everything's sold out. So come time for math 3, we will have to change over to something else. But for the time being, she does want to do the old version of the Good and the Beautiful's math 2. That's the plan. Anyway, we did their level K language arts. Again, like I said, my daughter actually tested into a level above this, but was 4. So I didn't want her doing what was considered 2nd grade level stuff because their language arts is actually advanced. So their level K is more suited to like 1st grade aged kids. I didn't want to move her into 2nd grade stuff in our first homeschool year. I wanted to kind of have the opportunity to do some of the younger stuff with her, to enjoy the, the little things, and I wanted to like make little blocks with letters on them, and I wanted to do that. So we did. And I'm glad that we actually did this. I'm glad that we didn't move on to the next level because this was so good. She could already read some stuff, but this really made her confident with reading, and it made her enjoy it. Like, she wants to go out and pick books to read on her own. I don't have to remind her it's time to read for 15 minutes. She wants to read. She's already reading. So this is really good. It had like, they say they incorporate a lot of art into these, and technically there were pieces of art in here, but they didn't really have us doing any art yet. However, in the level 1, which she already started last year because she finished this so quickly, we have been doing art in that, so that's been really cool. And they also say there's like geography. There really wasn't much in this besides, it says phonics, reading, spelling, literature, grammar and punctuation, art appreciation. There were pieces of art in there that they told you to appreciate, but not really. They were just like, look at the apples in this picture. How many apples do you see? Let's talk about apples, you know. But the phonics and the reading and grammar and punctuation, that was really solid. So we really, really enjoyed this. And it was not dreadful to pick this up every day. However, the handwriting was. So we also went with handwriting through the Good and the Beautiful. I don't feel like handwriting, I was going to be ordering things from the Good and Beautiful anyways. I know Handwriting Without Tears was super popular and I was going to do that, but why order from a whole nother site one book when I'm already going to be getting all this other stuff shipped to me from the Good and the Beautiful? I didn't feel like handwriting was that big of a deal that I needed to do that, so I just ordered from the Good and the Beautiful. Now, they've got this kind of stuff. There's letters at the top that you like trace the letters, and then there's some words at the bottom. I don't know that we got to any words. I think we're still just doing the letters. But then there's things like this says, copy the picture into the box below and then color it. My daughter doesn't draw. My daughter doesn't color. She doesn't care. So this part of it, this additional fun stuff, like color this after you've completed all this other stuff, you get to have a fun coloring thing. She doesn't care. She doesn't color. If she does color, the times that I have made her color, she'll just take her pencil and gray, everything will be gray. Everything on the page. So we don't do that. However, she didn't like the handwriting portion of it either. I mean, it is level 1 handwriting, and they had level K, and then they had pre-writing doodles or whatever, which is their pre-K handwriting. So we did skip some levels because she was already writing pretty good. I didn't see the point. She was already able to like write her name and write little notes to me or her father. So I didn't see the point in her doing like trace the line. She should be tracing the letter. I don't know. She didn't like it. Her handwriting's pretty good though, and my handwriting's not pretty good, so I don't see the point. I shouldn't judge her handwriting when mine's not even good. I write my F's backwards. I've been doing that since high school. I don't know where I learned it. I don't know where I saw it and thought I wanted to start doing that. I couldn't get my hand to do the other way, so my F's were backwards. When I started teaching her how to write, and I had to put things up on the board for her to view, and I had to like write things on paper for her, my F's were backwards. So I'm having to relearn handwriting myself. And I'm in my 20s, so I don't think she needs this at 5 years old. We have it. We might use it later. It didn't work for us this year. I also think maybe it was just too much. It was like 25 letters on one page. Like, I mean, she should write cat, and be done with that. And then on the next page, like another day, write some, 3 or 4 more letters. It was too much. Again, from the Good and the Beautiful, we did 1 science unit last year. We weren't going to do any science units or history because, again, it was her kindergarten-ish kind of maybe year, and also she was 4 and 5, and she's an only child. Like, I'm not homeschooling anybody else, so I don't have any older children that she can just like sit in through the history lesson with. It's just her. So we didn't do any history. Well, we did 1 science unit, arthropods, through the Good and the Beautiful. I chose this because I realized we were getting through with our school day and she wanted more and I wanted more, and I love science. Science is my jam. So I decided, well, let's look and see what science units they have. And they have some good science units. However, like, I have an aversion to bugs. Don't like them. They're creepy crawlies, right? There's like beetles and spiders and stuff. Not cool to me. However, I don't want to teach my 5-year-old to not like creatures, you know? What's wrong with them? They're great. They do great things. And we're super into bees, which we've been super into bees for a little while. So I was like, let's do this arthropods unit. We'll be even more into bees, and maybe we'll be into other stuff too. So we did it. We loved it. We did 2 lessons a week. And there are 14 lessons. So we just did it in a couple weeks at the end of the year. It was last minute. I just grabbed it when I was already planning, like, okay, so we have this many weeks left of school, so let's do this and let's do that. And then I said, heck, let's add science into it. And we really enjoyed it. We didn't do a whole lot of, like, she doesn't write much. Remember the handwriting thing that we talked about? She doesn't like to write much. So I didn't, anytime there was like a worksheet, it was like, label the things. We didn't do that. But there was a day, it was the best. It was so much fun. And if you think that your homeschool science is not entertaining enough, maybe do this, because my daughter loved it. So we set up stations. And it told us in the book, on this day, set up stations. And there was like a termite station and a firefly station and another one, a silkworm station. So there was like a couple different stations. So what I did was I put one station in her bedroom, one station on the back porch, one station at the dining room table, and one station in my bedroom. And we jumped from station to station. Stations. Each station only had a little bit of information. Like, we read a story about silkworms and how to get silk from them in one station, and then like we felt silk. And then the termite station, we watched a video about them, and then we like made something out of Play-Doh. So it was really, really fun, and I think that I'm going to continue to use that technique of stations as much as I can, because it was so much fun for both of us. It is so dark outside. So we did math through the good and the beautiful, language arts through the good and the beautiful, science and handwriting through the good and the beautiful. I also had things like this little just, it was like just a book of a workbook full of worksheets, and there was reading and spelling and math and things in it, and it was just a bunch of worksheets. And my daughter actually likes worksheets. So we would like do our regular lessons where we had information given to her, and then she would complete like a worksheet a day. We didn't do this every day, and there's a lot of it left, but this was grade 1. And for this year, I actually got the grade 2 Brain Quest book. So we'll be using that too, just to fill out our day, and just because they can be fun. Don't forget, just because you're homeschooling, that doesn't mean you have to like leave behind everything that you know about schooling. Some of it's okay. You can still use worksheets if you like them and if your child likes them. You don't have to give that up just because you're homeschooling. Worksheets are okay if you let them be. I am like super into Charlotte Mason's teachings right now, and I still think worksheets are okay, as long as that's not all that we're doing. Oh my gosh, there's a storm outside. Where did that come from? Anyway, last thing, we also did a little bit of geography, mostly just somebody's on their motorcycle in the storm. Anyway, we did some geography, mostly just like learning that there are continents, how many there are, and the names that they are. And then we learned a little tiny bit about some stuff in each continent. Like, we learned about South America, but we did like an extra deeper study on Brazil. And because I have a friend in Brazil, so it's kind of a special place to me. And then we did Europe, but we did an extra study on Germany because I have some German somewhere in my family. So it was mostly, and it was also just like free printables that I found online. I put together these like units on my own just to kind of give her a touch of geography, just so she can understand how the globe works and looking at a map and all that, because mostly we have like a United States map, so she's seen our states, but she doesn't know much about the rest of the world. So it was kind of just giving her a little taste of it. So that's what we did this past year, and that's what we've taken from the year. We're going to continue to use the Good and the Beautifuls, language arts, and math. I think my power's about to go out. We still do have the handwriting. If we get to it, great. If we don't, that's fine too. And I definitely want to use more science units from the Good and Beautiful because it was so much fun. So yeah, that's what we did this last homeschool year.